In the mountains of eastern Pennsylvania is the most unique speedway ever built, Pocono Raceway. A tough 2.5-mile triangle that's challenged NASCAR's best since 1974. Triangle it is, 3 corners, all with different shapes and banking, all an action opportunity and a chance for disaster. Be fast, be brave, and be braver in Pocono Raceway's 3 corners. A beautiful 79-degree day in Long Pond, Pennsylvania, as ESPN welcomes you to live coverage of NASCAR's Sprint Cup Series qualifying to set the starting lineup for tomorrow's Pennsylvania 400 here on the Tricky Triangle. Cars lined up ready to go. First, we'll be rolling out onto the speedway momentarily. NASCAR Camping World Truck Series qualifying just wrapping up as we speak. And we'll see how qualifying turns out here in just a minute. A look at on whom this racetrack has treated best over the years. So I was going to say who shined most on the track, but then the sun went away and I couldn't make my shine reference anymore. What was a sunny day has become overcast. Jimmy Johnson, one of those who has shined on this track's 3 turns over the years. He certainly shined well in Indianapolis last week, and his crew chief Chad Knaus is standing by with Dr. Jerry Punch.
Thank you very much, Alan. You talk about how important momentum is at this racetrack, and particularly in this sport, and no one has more of that right now than this Chad Knaus-led team of Jimmy Johnson. And Chad, congratulations on an incredible performance last week, but not just the win, but how you dominated the race. What does that do for this team, you and this team, as you head to the chase?
I think it was a really good performance, and I think people were making more out of the domination of that race than really what it was. Yeah, we had a really good race car. We had a good race. The thing that we did, I think, maybe better than most is we didn't make any mistakes. We didn't have any problems on pit road. We didn't have a bad restart, and we were able to tune on our car for the clean air. You know, honestly, when we were behind the 11, behind the 2, we had trouble catching those guys and passing them, but we just had better track position than everybody all day long, and we didn't make any mistakes. But, you know, it's definitely good momentum for the team coming into Pocono, and hopefully for the remainder of the summer. We're looking forward to this weekend. It's a great racetrack for us here in Pocono, Pennsylvania, and we're looking for some fun.
Talk about this weekend. You mentioned momentum. 2/3 of the races here have been won by drivers who started in the top 6 or better. What's the key to qualifying well and staying there on Sunday?
Well, again, I think it's maintaining that track position. You have to make sure you don't have any mistakes. Obviously, last time we were here, there was a huge debacle on pit road with the timing lines, and everybody got caught speeding, and that was a bit of a mess, so that kind of threw off a lot of people's strategy. But Pocono is a place that's it's a lot of fun. There's a lot of tools that you can work with. You can shift. The driver can actually do some different things to try to make the car better. It's aerodynamics, it's horsepower, it's handling, and there's a lot of neat things that you can work with here.
Hey, thanks for your time. And by the way, early happy birthday tomorrow.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Chad Knaus joining us here in the garage here, coming off a big win, Alan, and hoping for 2 in a row here this weekend.
And nobody who watched practice here on Friday will count that 48 car out for a trip to Victory Lane on Sunday afternoon. Our ESPN pit studio located right where the cars go in and out of the Sprint Cup Series garage onto pit lane here at Pocono, and tucked nicely inside that building are 3-time Pocono winning driver Dale Jarrett and 2-time Pocono winning crew chief Andy Petrie alongside Alan Bestwick. Drivers say they like this racetrack because it's such a challenge. You agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. It used to be that the challenge was that this racetrack was fast, but it had a lot of bumps that you had to navigate. And so getting the car to handle and carry the speed that you needed, that was the real challenge. Now the challenge, since the repaving, is the qualifying speed last time in June over last August was over 7 miles per hour faster. That's the average speed. So they have to do this. Plus, they're downshifting going in pretty much all 3 corners. So as a driver, it's a huge challenge, but one I think is a lot of fun for them.
And it has one of the largest pit roads on the circuit. Real wide pit stalls, real long pit stalls. So there's not really any bad ones to try to go for, or good ones that you're trying to go for in qualifying. So what you're really trying to do here is get track position. I heard Chad Knaus talk about how important it was to have your car up front in that clean air and be able to tune for it. That's what they're going to be going for in this qualifying session, to try to get their starting position as far forward in the grid as possible.
Now, people used to talk years ago, because this racetrack's corners are all shaped differently, the straightaways are all different lengths, that you had to pick one. Get your car optimized for that corner and give up something in the other 2. That still apply, and does it apply for qualifying lap?
Yeah, not as much as what it did before the repaving in particular, because this racetrack is so smooth now that I think you have to pretty much feel that you've got to hit every corner if you're going to maximize your speed.
Yeah, and you can't give up any corner. You try to make it perfect in all 3. But if I had to pick one corner to have my car good in, it would be turn 3, especially qualifying, because you need that speed coming off of that corner to that really long front straightaway.
Yeah, and you've got to do that twice. You need to be up on it going through turn 3 coming to get the green.
Qualifying beginning momentarily here at Pocono Raceway, and we'll see who does that turn 3 pass twice the best, getting up to speed and coming to the checkered flag. That's just minutes from now. Also later on tonight, the NASCAR Nationwide Series at what will be sold-out Iowa Speedway, and you'll see it on ESPN at 4:30 Eastern Time later on today. NASCAR Sprint Cup Series racing here at Pocono is tomorrow. I'm sorry, that was qualifying, then the race at Iowa. Doubled up. Then NASCAR Sprint Cup Series racing here at Pocono tomorrow at noon Eastern Time. The Eyes on IndyCar Series at Mid-Ohio at 12:30 Eastern tomorrow. And the O'Reilly Auto Parts NHRA Northwest Nationals at 6 Eastern tomorrow on ESPN2. Qualifying, racing, a lot of motorsports for you to watch here on the ESPN networks this week, including today and tonight.
When forced to adapt to extreme environments, a spontaneous change in DNA can occur. A change that spawns unexpected power and agility. Introducing the all-new, all-powerful Gator RSX 850i. 62 horsepower, a fully independent multi-link suspension, and a top speed of 53 miles per hour. It's a whole new species of Gator. See it in action at johndeere.com/Gator.
This is Mike. Mike's being healthy and chewing like a man. Introducing One-A-Day VitaCraves for Men. It's a gummy multivitamin with more vitamin B to convert food to energy and help Mike do manly things like wrestle bears and take out the garbage. New One-A-Day VitaCraves for Men.
These Island Breeze slushes are great. It's basically like taking a whole island vacation, but in a cup.
Yeah, I suppose so, yeah.
My wife just is bugging me about taking trips, and I just get her one of these.
No.
New, made with real fruit, Island Breeze slushes. This is how you Sonic.
We asked over 3,000 doctors to review 5-Hour Energy, and what they said is amazing. Over 73% who reviewed 5-Hour Energy said they would recommend a low-calorie energy supplement to their healthy patients who use energy supplements. 73%. 5-Hour Energy has 4 calories and is used over 9 million times a week. Is 5-Hour Energy right for you? Ask your doctor. We already asked 3,000.
Jimmy Johnson was dominant at the Brickyard Sunday, driving the 48 car to victory for a record time, 4th time. This week, the Sprint Cup Series on ESPN is at Pocono. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is the new points leader for the first time since 2004. He continues his quest for the championship, but the tricky triangle is no easy puzzle to solve. Nothing beats first place. The NASCAR Sprint Cup Series at Pocono, tomorrow at noon on ESPN.
A lot of ways to have fun on a summer weekend in the Poconos, and a lot of folks in town as we get race weekend here in the mountains. NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying at Pocono Raceway just up the road from Lake Harmony, where the folks were enjoying the afternoon on the water. As we get ready to go with our NASCAR Sprint Cup Series time trials, check the championship standings. With 6 races to go until the chase, the man leading the standings is with Mike Massaro.
And that would be your championship leader, Dale Earnhardt Jr. I bet you that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it sounds great. We're real proud of the results this year and how we've been running. We want to win some more races, and we just need to find a little bit more speed. We're not quite there, but real happy with how things are going and having a good weekend so far here in Pocono.
You know, we think back to June. You had a pretty sporty race car then, led 36 laps. How much of an opportunity do you see this weekend as?
You know, I think that the car's got good speed, and the competition is just going to be really tough. I don't know if we had enough race car to win. Joey was really fast, but we're real happy with the speed the car had then, and it's starting to show that this weekend. So I'm excited about the race. Just hope we can get a good qualifying spot today.
We're going to let you go put your uniform on and get ready for qualifying. Good luck this weekend.
All right, thanks a lot.
All right, Dale Earnhardt Jr. certainly has a shot at the pole, Alan. He was the fastest in happy hour.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., our ESPN in-race reporter for Sunday's Pennsylvania 400. Want to suggest a question for DJ to ask on the pace laps or during the course of competition? ESPN.com's NASCAR page, and the keywords are in-race reporter. Joey was fast is the quote I'll take from Dale Jr. there. Joey was fast. Joey Logano led 49 of 160 laps in the race here back in June. Lost the lead on a restart with 7 to go. Got it back with 4 to go and scored his second NASCAR Sprint Cup Series career win and a huge day for Joey Logano here at Pocono back in June. Joey Logano joins us now inside our ESPN pit studio as he gets ready to walk out to buckle into that Home Depot Toyota for qualifying. When you see highlights, I know you said, I saw you on Twitter the other day saying you were watching the tape from the June race. I assume just getting yourself ready for this one. When you go back and you look at a day like that, does it still feel good?
Those are the best ones to watch. I was laughing. I was sitting in my motorhome watching the race tape. I'm like, I know who's going to win this race, so it's going to be a good one. So those are the more fun ones to watch.
Yeah, it's pretty good. How is your car through practice Friday?
I think it's okay. I think we had to work on it a little bit more than we had to the first time we were here. They changed the side skirt rule on us. Obviously, they shortened them up. So it changes up some of the package, changes up the handling. We got the same exact car, but we just had to change up a lot of things. So I felt like we had pretty good speed the first practice. In the second practice, we weren't as fast as we wanted to be. But I don't think we're that bad either. So I still think we got a good shot at it here. We made 2 qualifying runs. In the first one, I about wrecked, and the second one, I was still really loose. So I don't know what I'm going to have here in a few laps on what's going to happen here. So I know Jason, the boys, they tightened me up, so hopefully it was enough, and we'll go out there and try to go for 3 poles in a row here.
Joey, Allen just asked me at the top of our show about the challenge, and the drivers really like this. Now with the repave, what is the new challenge that you found? Although you conquered all of them last time, but what is the challenge now? Is it the speed or the shifting? What is the part?
You know, it's crazy to me to think that we're still shifting, how much faster we're going, but we're shifting just as much as we used to. So that's pretty nuts there. But it's a lot different. I think the setups are way different because you know how bumpy it was here before. Now everyone's just trying to get their their aero platform the best they possibly can get because that's really the biggest deal now. So the setup's way different. Driving it is still similar. Turn 2 is still the tunnel turn, and still you got to be on it by this much all the time.
Let me just establish here that the first car is on the track. This is Jason White in the 32, not the driver that was supposed to be in this car for the weekend. It was supposed to be John West Townley making his Sprint Cup Series debut. Had some trouble on his opening lap of practice. Decided he wasn't ready for the Sprint Cup Series and told the team he wanted to wait until he had a chance to test a Cup car. So the team went over to the Camping World Truck Series garage, got Jason White, who they have had in this car before, to drive this weekend here in Pocono. Joey Logano's going to hang with us here for a bit. You're not going out until 38th and has graciously agreed to sit in for just a little while in our session. You were going to say, Andy? I just wanted to establish that story while we watch Jason make his lap.
Well, one question I had for Joey was the way you won that race. I mean, you had the best car, but you found yourself behind and having to get up there and basically move Mark a little bit, and that win meant a lot to your chase chances, but another win would mean even more. Are you willing to do the same thing again?
Yeah, well, I think it's even more important now than it was then to get another win. So we got to do what we got to do again to try to win it, and this is one of our best opportunities to get one. So we know how to do it. We'll have to do the same thing. And these restarts here are so crazy. You get such a long straightaway before you even get into one. And Dale, when cars go side by side and they side draft you, even if you get that jump on the initial start, a lot of times they'll side draft and be in front of you before you get into one. So timing the starts and working the aero battle into turn 1, it's pretty intense before you even get to the corner because you get such a long straightaway.
Well, it made for a great race and exciting finish.
It was a great race for sure.
Was your intention as you went down into one just to maybe loosen Mark up, or I know you eventually touched him just a little bit there, but did you just think you could get to his back bumper without really hitting him and get him loose enough to make the pass then?
Yeah, the intention was to get right on his back bumper, and that takes so much air off the rear spoilers of these cars and makes them so loose. I knew that was my shot to get him. He made a little mistake off of 3, and I had to run, and I thought I was going to get to the inside of him, and I kind of stalled out, and I wasn't able to get to the inside of him. So I knew I was going to be lined up to him, and this is my best shot to pass him and try to get right up on him. And I think he started to get loose, and then that gave me a little extra, and I really got to him. And I was like, oh, and I was so happy he saved it. I was like, oh, shoot. And then I was like, okay, we're all right.
Yeah. Something went wrong for Tony Raines in that 36 on his warm-up lap, and he has coasted back down the pit lane without taking the green flag. So we'll follow up on that and see what's happened there to Raines in a minute. Qualifying just underway here at Pocono Raceway. A quick break and back for the next car.
Head to ESPN.com/fantasyfootball to sign up your fantasy football league.
That leaky roof will cost Pocono Raceway, Long Pond, Pennsylvania. NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying just underway to set the starting field for tomorrow's Pennsylvania 400. That is Stephen Light in the 33, just the second driver to run. You see better than 170.4 miles an hour on the first of his 2-time laps. Tony Raines on the 5-minute clock after the 36 coasted back around to the pit lane. And a reminder that ESPN's coverage of Major League Baseball continues tomorrow and Monday. First on baseball's biggest stage tomorrow, Ryan Braun and the Brewers look to make up ground in the NL Central, where they face Matt Holliday and the Cardinals at 8. Then Monday night, Derek Jeter and the AL East leading Yankees head to Comerica Park to take on Prince Fielder and the Tigers at 7. Sports Center to be seen in the New York market. Sunday Night Baseball presented by Taco Bell, and Monday Night Baseball presented by USAA. And Kurt Busch on his get-up-to-speed lap in the 51 car. Of course, Kurt did not run the June race here at Pocono. That was the race he was suspended for during the season. So this is his first try on the new pavement here.
And he's going out awfully early. That means he did not have a good practice run in the first practice session, which is how they aligned all the cars for this session. What do you think, Joey?
They weren't very good or intentional?
I think it may have been intentional. I know there's a few of them back there coming up that want that early draw.
He's got some pretty good track conditions right now.
Yeah, and it's hard too because there's a chance of rain today. So we thought, I think everyone thought about it, and it goes through everyone's mind. And man, it's not worth taking that chance though sometimes. Because if it rained out today, he'd be starting what, 41st? If it ended up raining. So that's just, it's a little risky, but obviously he's a lot faster than the other two, so obviously that goes back to him sandbagging.
It looks like he just nipped Stephen Light at the line there by, well, what was it?
A little over a second and a half.
Yeah. He nipped him by a lot.
Yeah.
Kurt Busch up over 175 miles an hour in the 51 car and to the top of the board. Juan Pablo Montoya walking toward his car, getting ready to buckle in for his 3 corners of Pocono in qualifying.
A lot of you may have heard about
Back live at Pocono Raceway as NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying unfolds on this Saturday morning. What was a sunny morning has now turned overcast, and the temperature right at 79 degrees as the just first few cars have gone under the clock. Scott Riggs ran while we were away in the break, just the 1 lap for Scott. And you see second fastest of the 4 that have run. The 5th car, Tony Raines, will not make a qualifying attempt. They had a mechanical problem under the hood, and they will not make a time trial effort. The winner here back on June the 10th, Joey Logano, driver of the Home Depot Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing, is joining us in the pit studio. Not only was he the race winner, he won the pole for that race also. And during the commercial breaks, it's been kind of funny listening to Joey try and decide how this qualifying lap's going to go and just what exactly you're going to have under you when you go screaming off into turn 1.
You never know. That's the tough part about qualifying. You got to barrel it off into 1 like you know what you got, and you know it's going to be the best race car ever. And then when you turn in there, then you really realize, okay, here's what I got. And you got to try to, figure out how to change what you got to do to fix that. So it makes it tough. But, the good thing about here is you do have turn 2 and turn 3 leading up to the green to kind of get a good feel for what your car's doing.
Hey, Joey, to go that much faster on this racetrack, 7 miles per hour over what you ran last August, are you driving the car in the corner any further, or is it just that you have that grip to kind of let it roll, not as much braking, can get back to the gas earlier?
I think the big thing is just letting it roll. I think that's where some of the speed comes. And obviously, you do drive it in a little bit harder because you're always trying to get that little bit more. But, I think a lot of these places, when you qualify, you get your foot off that brake pedal, that just lets the car roll and keeps that minimum speed up through the center of the turn.
Second fastest for David Ruderman on his lap. 173.5 miles an hour. That's still 2 miles an hour slower than Kurt Busch, Doc.
And guys, actually tomorrow is an anniversary of sorts for Kurt Busch, August 5th, the 5-year anniversary of the dominant win here back in 2007, 175 of 200 laps he led. Hey, Kurt, 2 wins, 8 top 3 finishes here. Why are you so good at this place?
Pocono is one of those tracks where you love it or hate it. You'll hear that from most guys. For me, it's kind of like a road course where you have 3 different corners, and you have to compromise a lot here. You just can't be dialed in for one corner. You got to keep all 3 in mind, kind of like a Phoenix or a Darlington.
We talked earlier today about your busy afternoon. Give us your itinerary from right now, heading out to Iowa to run the nationwide race.
I was hoping to post the best lap that I could with our Phoenix Racing Chevy, and I think it was a solid lap, but just missed 1 out of the 3 corners. And then from here, I'm waiting on a couple other racers. They're going to do their qualifying laps, and then we're headed to Newton, Iowa. So we have plenty of time today. We're going to drive drive to the airport and then fly into Newton. We're going to qualify the Monster Energy car and then give it a great race tonight. And today, it doesn't matter how good or how bad we do. Today's my birthday, so it's going to be just fine.
I was going to say happy birthday. Have a good day.
Thanks a lot.
By the way, tonight in Iowa, he will drive the same car he drove for Kyle Busch Motorsports that he won with at Richmond earlier in the year, and they're hoping for win number 2.
Doc, thanks. You will see both qualifying and the race for the Nationwide Series on the ESPN networks later. In case I didn't make that clear before.
You're just trying to draw them into qualifying, weren't you?
I think I hadn't finished my coffee yet, honestly. Here's Landon Castle on the track now. BK Racing's 83 machine. Landon from Iowa. And you'll see on both of this team's cars this weekend, decals trying to bring attention to the case of two young Iowa cousins who've been missing for nearly 3 weeks. A story that caught Landon's attention. And Elizabeth Collins and Lyric Cook disappeared July 13th while out riding their bikes, and they're hoping to find him and hoping to draw a little attention to the cause. Both Landon and Travis Quapple in this race team.
He's going to like that lap he just ran, 51.67. That's the fastest lap he's run all weekend by a pretty good bit, almost half a second.
Yeah, about a half a secking faster than what he had posted yesterday.
If you judge it off Kurt, that's going to be pretty decent. If Kurt had a decent lap, we'll see when some more fast cars get out there.
Yeah, looking at that time that Kurt ran, though, it's a little bit slower than he ran in happy hour. I know they didn't use happy hour to line up the cars for qualifying here, and that's why Kurt went so early, but I expect him to actually maybe run a little quicker. The track conditions look pretty good to me.
Yeah, not going to get to your pole winning speed by any chance here, I don't believe, from back in June. It doesn't look like. The track just lost a little bit of grip.
I hope so. I like holding the track record. I want to keep that. I want to hold that on for a long time. You know, Casey Kane held it here for a long time, so I wouldn't mind having that for a while. That'd be cool.
Travis Quapple in the other BK Racing machine.
Up the racetrack there.
Yeah, had a little trouble there.
There's a lot of things going on in every one of these turns when you're shifting. You know, it's you're right in the center of the turn, and you're trying to take your hand off the steering wheel and grab a downshift in the middle of all that. It makes it very tricky. And you see a lot of people do it different ways. Some people grab the downshift right before they go to the gas. Some people grab it a little earlier going into the turn.
That car was kind of walking up off of the tunnel turn there for him.
Yeah, I was talking to a driver yesterday, Joey, that was telling me that if you shifted where you really felt like you needed to, it's almost too late because you're back in the gas so soon in these corners.
Yeah, it's a timing thing. Yeah. You know, if you do it too early, you're going to over-rev your motor. So you got to wait till you get down in the corner. But as you're getting down in the corner, you want both hands on the wheel here. You don't really want to take your hands off, but eventually you get comfortable doing it.
Now, Travis probably be a little disappointed with that lap. That is going to be 5th out of 8, 52-55, compared to Kurt Busch's 51-32. And there's the back deck of Landon Castle's car, and they're trying to help find those two young women. And we hope that maybe the publicity that they'll help generate this weekend makes that a reality. Let's check with Mike Massaro. Michael?
And catching up with Paul Menard, and his weekend got off to a bit of a challenging start, I would say, in practice yesterday. Well, what happened?
I was still trying to figure it out. Best we could tell, our radiator hose blew out, and obviously the right front tire got soaked in water and just couldn't get woed out. But you know, luckily we had a 2-hour window between practices. The guys rolled out the backup car that we tested for 2 days here in June, and it seems like it's okay. It's pretty decent. Just kind of got behind the 8-ball a little bit with all that, but I think we'll still be okay.
As you say, behind the 8-ball, what are you expecting when you go out here for qualifying in this backup car?
Well, I mean, we did one mock run at the end of second practice, and the car drove good. Ran a 51-40, I think. I know it can get more. Yeah, I don't know. That track's a little bit cooler than I think it was yesterday. The sun's coming out now, so I'm glad we're going out on the early side and see how it goes.
Best of luck, Paul.
Thank you.
Paul Menard.
That was a hard hit that Paul took yesterday, as you saw it. J.J. Yaley on the track, a big hit, but glad to see he's okay, and they had some time to get that backup car out there.
Yeah, with the pressures they've run in these systems, these cooling systems, it puts that radiator hose under a lot of stress, and it's not a no-brainer to make that work. And when it comes off, boy, it can make a mess.
You know, we see those type hits right there. We kind of taken for granted now because of the safety issues with these cars, how great they are, and the safer barriers, Joey. I mean, it's still a hard hit, though.
It still hurts, but I could imagine back in the day with seats that aren't as nice as ours, and obviously without the safer barrier and all, it's got to. It still hurts, but I can imagine back then he may not be qualifying today.
Yeah. Fifth fastest for J.J. Yaley, behind Kurt Busch and Landon Castle, who's with Doc.
Landon, I know you're excited about a great run, a half a second faster than what you run in practice, but I know you're really excited about what you're carrying on that rear deck, being an Iowa native, trying to draw attention to two missing cousins.
Yeah, it's really a sad story. These two girls are missing, and we're just going to try to get them home and get the awareness out there. So we've got pictures of them on the back of the car, which I'm sure you guys have seen, and just trying to get their name out there so that we can somehow find these girls.
I know that's the big purpose for the weekend. But what about you guys? I mean, this car better than you thought it was going to be in qualifying?
I think so. I mean, we kind of chased our tails yesterday a little bit, and in the first chance we had last night to sit down and talk about it, Doug and I talked on the phone for 30 minutes last night, just trying to dissect the whole day and comparing it to the first time we were at Pocono. So, we put down a good lap here, and when it's time to bring it, I guess that's when you got to bring it. So hopefully it turns out all right, and we can, get 400 miles in tomorrow.
Good luck this weekend.
Hey, thanks.
Landon Castle, Alan.
All right, Doc, thanks. Castle's second behind Kurt Busch right now. 9 cars into qualifying, and here's Reed Sorensen, who also had some troubles in turn 1.
Joey, you get outside that groove just a little bit, like those right sides. No grip there.
It's ice. It's ice. But it is better than what it was the first time we came here. And you get the groove is wider than what it was. So I think everyone remembers the first lap of the first race here when we all went into the first corner and we were sliding up the racetrack and all over the place. And I don't think it's going to be as bad, especially with the truck race.
Reed Sorensen to the checkers, or the white flag, the end of his first lap, but everybody's just taken 1 lap. And a 52.76 for Reed, 7th out of 10, as we're still very early in the going in Sprint Cup Series qualifying at the tricky triangle in Pocono.
Fantasy football draft is the most important day of the year.
Series qualifying still in its early going. That is Bobby Labonte on his get up to speed lap. As Kurt Busch is the current leader pretty early in the going.
Bobby should be ready to go. During the commercial a while ago, we saw his car on a Brad Daugherty out talking to him, so he has all his instructions. No excuses.
Yeah, what was he saying to him, Joe? You're sitting in Brad's chair.
It's going Junebug. No, he looks a little free right there coming up to speed. But I know Brad's got a late model or something. He races a lot. I know Coleman Preston, my roommate, talks a lot about that. He runs every now and again. I don't know how he fits in a race car, but I guess he does somehow. He crumbles in it.
Yeah, he's got a truck, an older truck that he fitted to him. He extended the cab. You can't believe this thing. I mean, it's got all the leg room in the world. If I try to get in it, I can't even reach it. I mean, I'm back a foot away from the pedal.
Swimming in that thing.
I'm not sure there's a bigger race fan around than Brad, and I mean that in multiple ways. Yeah. Bobby Labonte, former winner at Pocono on a few different occasions. But it looks like that turn 1 area was, again, compared to Kurt Busch's lap, difficulty for Bobby.
Yeah, Joey saw him get a little bit loose in 3. What's that do to your psyche?
It doesn't help it. That's for sure. And he's still really loose. And, you're trying to push as hard as you can, but if you go over it, you lose a lot of time. So you're just trying to get right to that limit without going over. He knew what he had, but it's just going to be really tough to qualify a really loose car here.
And right there, when you finally finish that, you can breathe again and let go of the steering wheel with that grip you had on it, right?
About 85% of the time I get done qualifying, I got a little shakes going on.
Joey Logano with us, the pole winner and race winner here at Pocono Raceway in the first race of this season back on June 10th. Of course, Joey, he's got a lot going on. He's trying to find a way to race into the chase, got to win another race, right? And, of course, still the focus on where's it going after 2012? You have anything more you can tell us about next year?
I'm still looking around and weighing my options out, and I think that's what you got to do at this point is make the best decision for my future and wherever that's going to be. So it is a pain in the butt. I'd like to just get it done and be over with it, but at the same time I got to be methodical about it and think about every situation that can happen and go from there.
Yeah, it's got to help though if you can get another win and make the chase. That has to open up a lot of options, a lot more options than would be available if you don't make the chase. But you still had a pretty good year by winning at least one so far.
Yeah, we got at least one, and you know, I think we're definitely capable of getting at least one or two more. And you know, as long as we just stay on track and keep focused, you know, I think we're doing a really good job considering all this other stuff that's going on. So I think we can keep doing that. Nationwide Series, we got 5 wins over there, so that's going super. And so eventually that'll all come together. I focus in, when I'm at the racetrack, I focus in on just driving the race car.
Used to be back in the day, like Dale, when you were looking for rides, you did that yourself. You talked to owners in the garage area. Today, when this kind of stuff happens, are you the one that's around talking to owners, or is there somebody that does that for you? How does it work today with drivers?
Hey, everybody does it a little bit different. You know, some people do have an agent or so. For me, it's me and my dad. You know, when we talk to people and try to figure it out. So my dad's a great businessman that's, you know, had his own garbage company, so he knows a lot of the business side of it, and I know the racing side and what I need, and we compare our notes and you know, try to make it work.
Joni Machette coming down to finish his first lap.
Not bad for Joe. It's going to be 7th. He got a little bit loose down there in 1 and 2 also, or in 1. I'm sorry.
Joey, I do want to ask you, though, we're talking about the compromise and setup around this track. Is there a definite compromise, or can you make your car really do what you want to in all 3?
I think if you're good, you'll have it all in all 3 corners, but I think it's very hard to do that. And it's very hard to, you know, keep your splitter as low as you want it in all the rest of the turns and not be burying the splitter in turn 1 when there's the most banking and the most load.
Joey Logano, pole winner from back in June here at Pocono Raceway, where he'll come out a little bit later in the qualifying line as Jeff Burton walks to his car to buckle in. Little visit with his Childress teammate Paul Menard on the way.
These real ice cream shakes are a great way to shake it off.
We got some stuff to shake off.
Oh, man. When you decided to pick up that hitchhiker.
For a dude with a face tattoo, he actually turned out to be dangerous.
Real ice cream shakes now half price after 8 p.m. This is how you Sonic. Join our road trip on Facebook.
This is Mike. Mike's being healthy and...
Matt Kenseth in Autograph Alley, making his way out from the Sprint Cup Series garage to pit road. And the fans getting up close to their favorite drivers as we bring you NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying. Mike Skinner has just finished his lap on the clock. 10th quickest out of 13 for the former champ of NASCAR's Camping World Truck Series.
Just one car going home today, and it won't be Mike Skinner. He's in the race.
Stephen Light is the bubble driver at the moment. David Reagan on his get up to speed lap.
We were talking in the opening of the show how important it is to get off of that turn 3 with speed, with just basically taking 1 lap in qualifying here.
It's such a long straightaway. You got to get off that corner so strong, and you'll give up the entry of 3 to get off it really well for your qualifying lap. So like I said, though, that's when you get the good feel what your car is going to do too.
Joe, it used to be with the track surface being so abrasive before and all the bumps, you wanted to save your tires as much as you could. So you didn't really go across the tunnel all that hard, but 3 you obviously had to get going. How about the tires now? And will you get up to speed, get up as fast as you can?
Whoa, look out.
I think, you know, everyone has their own certain way of doing it. Yeah, I think you kind of want to get a feel for your car and maybe put a little bit of heat in your tires, but I think they do lose grip as you heat them up too. So it's a little bit of a feel for that. You know, we played with it a couple times.
Yeah,
David's right.
I think he got the most out of his rear tires there.
Yeah.
It's still not too bad considering how loose he was.
David Reagan, 4th fastest. Video proof of his definition of loose, loose, loose.
Yeah, okay, when you get 3 out of it, that's pretty big.
That's
isn't
extra loose.
Is that wrecking loose, or is that just loose, loose?
That's loose, loose. He's about 2 degrees from being wrecking loose.
So David Reagan winds up still 4th fastest out of those that have run. Joey Logano's been with us, driver of the Home Depot Toyota for Joe Gibbs Racing, getting ready to leave us now and head out to the grid to buckle aboard his machine. And you're all psyched up and ready to go, right?
We're ready to go. Ready to try to get another pole here for sure.
There you go.
We'll see what we can do.
Try and get another win as well. That would be so huge in that wild card. Thanks for the time. Enjoyed it. It was fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Had a blast.
Absolutely. Good luck.
Love to be back.
Joey Logano in the pit studio. He'll be buckling into that race car in just a minute. Let's check with Mike.
And I'm with Joey's teammate, Denny Hamlin, who just revealed to the world earlier this weekend You're going to be a dad. What are you more excited about, that news or being here in Pocono where you've won 4 times?
Oh, but that's the much bigger picture. But no, just excited about it. It's going to be a great experience, and looking forward to it.
We mentioned the 4 victories here. The repave. How did that play with your winning formula?
I don't know. You know, it's been a few years since we won here, but we've been in contention, you know, just about every time we've come to this racetrack. And you know, obviously, some of that information is transferred over to our teammates, and they've been the ones that beat here lately. So, you know, we feel like we got a decent FedEx Ground Toyota, but you know, not the car that I was hoping for this weekend. But we'll see how it turns out in qualifying. It's going to be a whole new ball game today.
All right, best of luck.
Thank you.
Denny Hamlin, a 4-time winner here in Pocono, Alan.
Denny we'll see in just a little while as David Stremme finishes his first lap, locks himself into Sunday's race.
I think he just got the word that that was good enough to be in.
Yeah, I thought for a minute he might be going for 2, but
Good
Stremme,
move.
7th out of 15 in the 30 car. As Sam Hornish Jr. begins what will be a very busy day. He's headed for Iowa soon, too.
You always wanted to have the biggest, baddest beard. Keep living the dream with Just for Men for mustache and beard. Easy. Brush in and gray is gone in 5 minutes.
That gray beard is a new baby.
Introducing the all-new Sobakawa Cloud Pillow, a pillow 300 years in the making, based on the traditional Asian buckwheat pillow. The Sobakawa Cloud is filled with over 10 million air beads, a virtual sea of clouds. It does 3 things no other pillow does. Gives adjustable support, cools your head, and never breaks down. We placed eggs on the bottom of these cylinders, filled this cylinder with feathers from an expensive pillow. This 10-pound weight crushes the feathers and smashes the eggs. In this tube, we have stuffing from a fiber pillow, and it offers little resistance. Then we tried memory foam, and the weight wins again. Now watch as the weight hits the air beads. They absorb the shock, and the eggs are safe. Order your Sobakawa Cloud Pillow for just $19.99. Call right now and we'll double your order. You'll receive a second Sobakawa pillow and pillowcase for just the shipping and handling. But you have to call now.
To order, call 1-800-618-7115. That's 1-800-618-7115. Call now.
A 100th of a second. That's how long a NASCAR Nationwide Series driver has to evade what the rest of the world can't even see. It's barely time to blink, but it's enough time to see your future flash before your eyes. Follow the NASCAR Nationwide Series Dash for Cash this summer. NASCAR, everything else is just a game.
It was the first thing that people saw when they walked into that room. Certainly not for everybody, but for the right person, you know.
We do sports-related monuments quite frequently. If you think it, we can make it.
The graves in the Aggie Field of Honor, they're all pointed towards the stadium.
I don't want to be buried in a fancy dress. I'm a Cub fan.
People always say when you're a fan for life, but that might be a little short-sighted.
Got a new leader in qualifying at Pocono Raceway. It is that car and that driver, Juan Pablo Montoya, has just gone to the top of the board.
Yeah, about 2/10 quicker than what Kurt Busch was able to put down, 51.12.
He hasn't had a pole since April of 11 at Richmond. So if that would hold up.
It's been a pretty good track for Juan Pablo over the years, so would not surprise anyone if he showed up toward the front of the pack on Sunday.
They need some good things to happen. Paul Menard just finishing up, second quickest
in the backup car at a 51.24.
Up about 2.5 tenths over what he ran there yesterday.
Yeah, he said he ran that 40, but he thought he had some more left, and he did. He had a couple tenths.
You know, we talked a ton in our coverage of qualifying from Indianapolis last Saturday about the weather and the track temperature. We do have clouds moving in and out here at Pocono today. This racetrack not known to be as sensitive as Indy is to the weather, but still every track is sensitive some to the weather.
Yeah, anytime that it starts heating up, you're just going to lose a little bit of grip. And these cars that are going later on, but there's a lot of clouds around, so I don't really foresee the sun staying out for an extended period of time.
As you can see from that shot too, it's kind of dependent on where you take that reading. If you took it right here, it's going to be hot, obviously, because the sun's really beating down on the track. But then in turn one, there's some shade, so that's going to be a moving target.
We think this is a driver and team that may have tried to play with the times and get an early start here yesterday, which there's nothing wrong. There's nothing illegal about it whatsoever. It's just how you decide to go about it, trying to, with this early draw, thinking that they could get out when the track was still a little bit cool, but actually might have worked against them with the time that the sun was out.
Just never know, do you?
You never know.
You don't know.
Yeah.
It's got a good lap going, though.
But you give it your best effort. That's what they thought they needed to do to maximize their opportunities at getting a starting position up front.
Denny Hamlin, in his first 2 races at this most unique of racetracks, started on the pole and won the race. both of his first 2 tries here. And he's got a good one going.
Yeah, good corner there. Turn 2. Really picked up a lot of time right there. See if he can get off of turn 3. Struggling just a little bit.
Yeah, he's losing time to Montoya. Not gonna be able to beat Montoya. Just a couple of hundred slower.
Well, that was an interesting looking graph, wasn't it, compared to Montoya's lap? So Denny Hamlin will be second to Juan Pablo Montoya. Who's with Doc?
Yeah, outstanding lap for Juan Pablo Montoya. Denny Hamlin couldn't beat you. 51.124. Great lap, Juan.
It's okay. You know, our Target Chevy has been pretty good this week. We've done a lot of work on the cars lately. I don't think it's going to hold up or anywhere, but I don't know. We're work in progress.
Hey, this has been your best oval track. You had a second-place finish a few years ago. How confident are you that this is the weekend you guys turn things around?
I don't think this is one of the better tracks, to be honest with you. I actually talked to Chebias and I said, you know, part of the problem, it's me here. I'm not very good here.
All right, well, good luck Sunday.
Thank you.
Juan Pablo Montoya right now, though, atop the speed charts.
I might disagree with Juan, but based on Indianapolis would be the one where he's been the best, I think.
Yeah, and he's run good at Atlanta too, but I think part of it is because his road course experience that helps him here.
Yeah. Talk about some legends and immortality. New York Jet great Curtis Martin, longtime New Orleans Saints tackle Willie Roaf headline this year's class to be inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. The enshrinement ceremony tonight at 7 on ESPN. 6 legends going into the hall tonight. Always an enjoyable evening, and look forward to seeing it tonight.
Yeah, quite an honor for those gentlemen.
Here at Pocono Raceway, NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying to set the starting field for tomorrow's Pennsylvania 400 with Sam Hornish Jr. Behind the wheel of the Penske 22, course headlines this week. On Tuesday, Penske Racing meeting with and releasing A.J. Allmendinger from the team, saying that they would treat A.J. like they would any other Penske employee who had failed a drug test after the B sample came back, also in violation of NASCAR's substance abuse policy. Allmendinger released. He's already begun the process on NASCAR's Road to Recovery program. And Penske Racing President Tim Cindric saying that Sam Hornish Jr. would be in this car for the foreseeable future. And this has been Sam's best track in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series. 7th fastest there for Sam. And the beginning of a busy day behind the wheel of a couple of different race cars for the former Indy 500 winner. He's going to leave here, head on over to Newton, Iowa for qualifying, and then tonight's NASCAR Nationwide Series race, and then back to Pocono for tomorrow's Sprint Cup 400.
With Hotwire's low prices, I can afford to visit Chicago.
Jeff Gordon out on the pit lane signing some autographs for the fans as he waits his turn in NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying. Much success here at Pocono Raceway. Could use a win, certainly, to have any shot at getting himself into the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. David Gilliland has just finished his lap on the clock, 8th quickest, 173.4 miles an hour. And now Jeff Burton is on the track in the 31.
Certainly been a struggle for Jeff Burton and this team for the majority of the year. Shown times to have some speed in the race car, but just can't seem to put it all together.
New sponsor for Jeff and this 31 team this week here at Pocono, and to be 6th quickest. for that Chevrolet. 51.74 for Jeff. That's about 173.9 miles an hour. Ryan Newman, got anything for the poll, Mike?
Oh, well, let's pop our head in here and ask. Alan wants to know if you got anything for the poll today.
For a little bit. I think our car is pretty good. Haas Automation Chevrolet it's driving pretty good. Just seems like it's a little off speed-wise. So we'll see how we shake up. We made a couple more small changes, but really important to get a good starting spot and good track position, so we don't want to try too much right now.
We're curious, as the weather changes, the clouds come over, the sun is sometimes in turn 1, sometimes in turn 2, sometimes in turn 3. Is there a particular area of this racetrack where it's worse to have the sun beating on it?
Unfortunately, you can't wait for the clouds in every corner, otherwise you'll run a 5-minute lap, but you just have to go out there and do the best you can. You kind of get an idea where it's at when you take off, but you got to go for broke no matter what. It's all about getting all you can when you can.
All right, we'll let you get digging.
All right, thanks.
Ryan Newman.
And Ryan's boss, Tony Stewart, making his way up the grid.
Smoke probably just got up. He was out late last night winning another sprint car race, his 4th in a row.
In a little over a week's time, right?
Yes, since last Saturday when we talked about last Sunday that he had won. He won Monday, he won a World of Outlaws event Tuesday in Canada, and then won again last night, Williams Grove.
Famous sprint car venue, just not all that far from here at Pocono Raceway.
And if that's not enough, he's going to go race again tonight.
What a shock. Yeah. Marcos Ambrose had a little bob and weave going in the tail of that 9 car in the previous corner.
Pretty solid lap, though.
And will be. That'll be 4th fastest for the moment. And a 51.30 for Ambrose. That is 175.4 miles an hour. Well, we saw Jeff Gordon signing the autographs. Now let's hear from him, Mike.
There's a reason he signs all those autographs. He's won quite a few races. In fact, 5 of them right here at Pocono. What do you got this weekend?
And there's a lot of big NASCAR fans here in Pocono, so we appreciate them. Our drive-in Hunger Chevrolet was kind of back and forth on balance yesterday in race trim, but it was pretty good in qualifying trim. So, going out a little bit earlier than we did the last time we were here. Hopefully we catch one of these clouds and lay down a good lap.
Very curious. In June, a couple of different variables here at Pocono, the repave and the shorter race. How did that factor into the strategy and how it played out in June?
Well, I was really interested on how this new surface reacted in the race. There was a little bit of fall off, even though we didn't see a lot of tire wear. The track, you had to drive the car. It started getting loose getting in, and you could get the car out of shape. And I think it made for a better race than what we anticipated with a new repave. So I'm only anticipating that getting better this second time around.
We'll let you go.
Thank you.
Jeff Gordon looking for a very big win. Still needs at least 1, probably 2 in order to make the chase here. He's got 6 races to do it here in the regular season, Alan.
And Jeff Gordon, a big day for Jeff as well, besides trying to win pole position here at Pocono. Jeff's 41 years old today.
A lot of birthdays today.
Yeah. Jamie McMurray on track.
Trying to grab the top spot away from his teammate here. It's finished 10th here back in June, one of only 3 top 10s for this team for the year.
Drove it down in turn 1. Looked like the track didn't have quite as much grip as he anticipated.
I think what we're really seeing is we see him lose some time to Montoya's time. Turn 3 was a really good one for Juan Pablo because everybody seems to be losing it there. Jamie going to end up 6th.
Yeah, turn 3 was good for Juan Pablo, but not good at all for Jamie McMurray. So 23 of 44 drivers have gone on the clocks here at Pocono Raceway in the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying session. Later today, the NASCAR Nationwide Series qualifying will be coming your way on ESPN at 4:30 Eastern Time. And that leads up to the NASCAR Nationwide Series race tonight at Iowa Speedway. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. trying to win a 4th straight at that 7/8 mile track. ESPN 2 at 7:30 Eastern. Tomorrow at noon Eastern, we start with NASCAR Countdown for the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series Pennsylvania 400 here at Pocono. And also tomorrow over on ABC, the Eyes on IndyCar Series on the Mid-Ohio Road Course at 12:30 Eastern Time. The Motorsports Weekend wraps up with the O'Reilly Auto Parts Northwest Nationals from outside Seattle, 6 Eastern tomorrow on ESPN 2. Juan Pablo Montoya, Denny Hamlin, Paul Menard, Marcos Ambrose, Kurt Busch, the top 5. Here's Kevin Harvick on the clock now. Kevin had some interesting comments yesterday when he met with the media about this section of the racetrack, turn 1, and how critical it will be on restarts. He said basically what you learned here in the June race with the new pavement, the tires, the strategy, and all that is you got to go like crazy on the restart, try to survive turn 1, and then fall in line and see what you got.
It's been that way a lot with this racetrack, I think, but probably even more so now with the competition as tight as what it is. And these cars do get a severe aero push as you get behind other cars. So trying to get that track position is of utmost importance. See him losing some time to Montoya's time here also. And this hasn't been a racetrack that's been extremely kind to Kevin or Richard Childress Racing for a while.
It really hasn't. I mean, Harvick's qualifying average here is only just under 20. Looks like he's not going to, he might be right around that average, but he needs to be a little better. They never led many laps here. I think he's only led 5 laps in 23 races. Needs a little better performance.
Kevin 7th out of 24, 20 drivers to go. And that man, Juan Pablo Montoya, is the leader in NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying.
The island breeze slushes are great. It's basically like taking a whole island vacation, but in a cup.
Yeah, I suppose so, yeah.
My wife just is bugging me about taking trips, and I just get her one.
She's the